everyone. So in this really quick video, I'm going to talk to you about the concept of fluency training when you're teaching vocabulary. And it's something that we kind of do often without even realizing that we do it in our English language classrooms. So here we go. To get you started, here's a test of your own fluency. Were you able to read this? Most of you should be able to read it, and that's because when we are learning to read, we start by sounding out words using phonics and phonemes. But as we progress and become more fluent readers in a language, our brains start to recognize words automatically because it's much, much faster and it saves time processing. And in fact, some students who have learning disabilities or reading issues skip the phonics part and actually just start to recognize words in this way, which can be useful unless they haven't learned to recognize words properly yet. So my son is an example of that. He has a reading, coding, decoding issue where he thinks he's recognized the word but has recognized it improperly. So when he learned to read in French, a word like M, A-I-M-E, and ami, A-M-I-E, looked the same to him. So as he was reading through, the meaning of a sentence or a paragraph didn't make sense. Okay, so that's just a quick note about learning disabilities. But fluency, so here's what we can do with fluency. So why should we waste our precious time in class with fluency training exercises? In the previous video on teaching vocabulary, I talked about the fact that our time in classes with students is really quite limited, an hour a week with elementary and a couple of hours a week with secondary. So why should we be doing exercises that teach them how to recognize words? Well, here's what Crawford's point of view is. If we recognize a word, reading is less effort. And if reading is less effort, then reading is more enjoyable. If reading is more enjoyable, then you read more often. And if you read more often, you increase the fluency. And when you increase the fluency, you're training the brain to recognize the word. And you see where I'm going with this. So, as I mentioned before, traditionally, we gain reading fluency through extensive reading. So in our first language, we start to read using phonics, and then we read more, and we start to recognize it almost in an automatic kind of process. But because we don't have a lot of exposure to language in a second language the same way we do in a first, we can also do this as a bottom-up process. So that means training students with specific exercises to recognize words, then sentences. And these are actually pretty fun things to do. So you can do like word search puzzles, etc. Crawford has quite a few different examples of these in his article. I'm going to finish this short video by asking this question. Is a crossword puzzle a good activity for fluency training? Well, no, not exactly. Because a word search tests recognition. As you go through, you should be able to automatically see some words. But a crossword puzzle tests meaning, definition. There's no right or wrong or bad or good here. Just understand that one kind of activity tests meaning and definition and spelling, and the other one tests automatic recognition. That's it. Thanks for watching.